Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital Weather Desk powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more. Happy Tuesday, and the sun's back. Let's take a look at I-20 from west to east across Monroe and West Monroe, or West Monroe and Monroe, respectively. Today's forecast made possible by ServPro with 3 locations across the area: Monroe, West Monroe, Shreveport, Natchez. To better serve you, call or click servpro.com for more. Obviously, the sunshine has returned across the region, and we are happy to see it. Now, if the forecast is wrong, it's all my fault. Can't blame it on the low clouds. My mother-in-law was quick to remind me that. She's been here for about a week, and I said, well, it took me a week, but I finally brought you some sunshine. And she said, well, you can't blame it on the forecast. You can't blame those for the forecast now. I said, you're right. Check of the visible satellite shows the last of the fog and the low clouds continuing to mix out. In fact, it's been some pretty pesky fog across the Ark-La-Tex region. They had a dense fog advisory that stretched out till 11 o'clock this morning in some counties to our west. Again, they're still dealing with the last of the clouds. Most of our area has started to see the sunshine. There are still some spots along the Mississippi Valley, Greenville, across portions of Chico County, in the northeastern sections of Louisiana, East Carroll, West Carroll parishes, Morehouse Parish, and right along the Mississippi Delta, that are still encountering a little bit of cloud cover. Radar made possible, every shingle product made possible by Brown's Roofing. Schedule your free roof inspection at brownsroofingla.com. Nothing doing rain-wise, precipitation-wise. It's pretty messy. The upper-level pattern is going to send those kind of clipper systems moving through the Great Lakes region for the next several days. And so snowfall will be off and on for a lot of those folks. But it really is a pretty quiet pattern for us here in the short term. Temperatures are starting to rebound a little bit. It's taking some time, but Natchez is already back to 50. We're at 43 in Monroe, 44 in El Dorado. They've jumped quickly. In fact, that may make me tweak the hourly temperatures again here in just a little bit. When you're relying on the clouds to move out, the hour by hour, temperatures will climb pretty rapidly once you get the last of those clouds out of here. And it's, again, anticipating when that will happen and when that temperature climb will happen. That can get kind of tricky. But overall, we're in the low to mid-40s, aiming for highs in the low to mid-50s this afternoon. Winds are out of the south, 5 to 10 miles an hour generally. Some winds could be a little gustier at times. Again, the gusts generally in the 10 to 15 mile an hour range. Futurecast shows winds out of the southwest. As we go through the rest of the afternoon, those winds should die down a little bit tonight. Could pave the way to more patchy fog. We'll get to that in a minute. And then the winds are back out of the southwest, becoming more westerly as we work a weak cold front in during the mid-morning hours, and then more northerly or northwesterly behind that boundary through the daytime hours tomorrow. Still aiming for highs in the 60s. The cooler air is not that much cooler, and it really doesn't arrive until a little bit later in the day. We are looking at the possibility of more fog overnight, especially along and south of I-20, starting in the southern parishes and counties shortly after midnight, then crawling toward the I-20 corridor by around sunrise, maybe as far north as the state line, and moving into southern Arkansas, but by mid to late morning, most of that should be gone. So again, it's a possibility that visibility-wise, that would be one of our big hang-ups tomorrow morning. So exercise caution there. Again, Futurecast is made possible by Bayou Power Sports, I-20 Frontage Road in Monroe. Holiday season in full swing right now. So again, youth ATVs and dirt bikes, Honda, Yamaha. Go see Mike and the gang for more. As we go through the next couple of days, we will see a kind of an active pattern that doesn't yield much activity, if that makes any sense. Winds will be back out of the south as we go through the daytime hours today. We'll bring that weak cold front through the region tomorrow, probably mid to late morning hours. Winds will be out of the north and a bit breezy at times through the afternoon. High pressure settles back in the short term, allows for some sunshine through the day on Thursday. Clouds should ramp up relatively quickly as we go into the day on Friday, but it doesn't necessarily bring rainfall. In fact, if we want to get really technical with the surface or with the computer models, there's actually the boundary, the potential cold front kind of approaches the area and stalls as we go into the daytime hours on Friday. And so it just kind of washes out. And then as we go into the day Saturday, winds are back out of the south, and it pushes that boundary back to the north as a warm front. And so you can see the warm front that's indicated on the surface analysis. This is an automatically drawn surface analysis, and it's a smidge old, smidge dated. So you can kind of see how that warm front's getting pushed back to the north. So temperatures, again, on Saturday, probably climbing well into the 60s, but then the next cold front moves through Saturday night and kind of sets up the temperatures as the cool down as we go into the Sunday, Monday time frame. Look at Futurecast, the mid-level winds, and surface temperatures. Again, we've been talking about the storm track that's going to bring some much colder air for parts of the country. And that first boundary moves through on Wednesday, and you can see the strong surge of Arctic air starting to pool up across portions of the upper Midwest, the Dakotas, some of those areas by early Saturday. And for our area, the front, as I mentioned, starts to kind of move into the region, but essentially just kind of stalls and gets hung up. And then we get a final nudge of colder air that moves into our area Sunday into Monday. And this is late Sunday into Monday. And notice, again, we're into those blues, the colder temperatures, probably into the 30s. It's nothing earth-shattering in terms of cold, but what I really want to draw your attention to is how quickly the upper-level pattern, this ridge of high pressure, kind of fights back against the colder air. So it's really what we call a backdoor effect of the colder air. It's not sweeping in from northwest or the west. It's kind of creeping in from the north or the northeast, and it's just kind of creeping in the back door of our upper-level pattern. It's kind of sneaking in at the surface underneath an upper-level pattern that's fighting against it. So as we go into the early parts of next week, that Arctic air continues to move off to the east and kind of modify, and then we await the next storm system, and this is the next the system that's getting picked up on early to middle parts of next week that could bring some rain chances, maybe middle to end parts of next week. But that's a long way from now, and a lot can change between now and then. Sunshine eventually, it's already happening, but for those that haven't had it, it's on its way. Just hang tight, maybe an hour or two more. Low to mid-50s for highs. Some spots may struggle to get out of the 40s, especially along the Mississippi Valley today. If you're seeing the clouds right now, you may struggle to get 49, 50 degrees. Southern Arkansas, El Dorado, I have you at 50. May have to bump you up to like 53, 54-ish, kind of with the rest of us. I had you guys running a little bit cooler. Patchy fog will be a possibility again tonight, generally along and south of I-20. As overnight lows fall to near 40, we will probably cool off relatively quickly, and then as the winds pick up out of the south later on in the night, temperatures just kind of level out. They may even climb a few degrees by sunrise. So you may wake up and go, I didn't get that cool. Well, it may have gotten that cool at around midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and temperatures just nudged up a few degrees after that. Look at the 7-day forecast. Made some fancy, colorful words on there just to kind of add a little bit of personality to the 7 days. Kind of boring. Weak front Wednesday. A little bit cooler Thursday with some sunshine. Quickly cooler Friday, Saturday, maybe even approaching the 70-degree mark. In fact, I have the southern counties and parishes in the 70s on Saturday. The rain chances would return late. And in fact, they're up to about 30% Saturday night, Sunday morning. So again, if you go to digitalweatherdesk.com or to the app and you see those rain chances bump up to 30% for Saturday night, especially, well, for much of the area, especially the northwestern 2/3 of the area, that's the reason why. There's, again, a cold front nudging through. That'll bring some cooler air for Sunday and Monday. It's not drastically cooler. Again, the social media weather folks, and again, I acknowledge I'm one of them, but there were some folks really getting crazy about the cold air, and there's going to be a lot of cold air moving through parts of the country, just not here. We'll get cooler, but nothing out of the ordinary for mid-December. Forecast just got updated at digitalweatherdesk.com and on the app. You can find that for Apple and Android users. I will probably refresh it just a smidge as the sunshine beams in and we get these noontime temperatures. Just adjust those hour-by-hour temperatures and maybe our daytime highs by a smidge over the next hour. So if you check it now and then you check it again in here in a little bit and you go, hey, those numbers have changed. That was me. I did that. Fishing game comes out later tonight at 8. I will join you a little bit later this afternoon with a look at the forecast as well. And that's pretty much it for this Tuesday. Thanks so much for stopping by the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. As always, if I don't say it enough, I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for taking time out of your day to stay up to date with the forecast, and we'll provide more updates through the rest of the day.